working.
Waiting for the little door.
But for a minute, I thought I'd lost your voice. I was like, oh no.
No. I know. I'm like, no, I don't want that. All right. Welcome, everybody. We have made it onto the internet this morning, and welcome to the Eat and Greet Whole Morning if you're in the United States, but afternoon over there, huh, Michele?
Hi. Good
Yeah,
afternoon.
well,
Yeah, it's
welcome.
afternoon. After our technical to get online.
I know, you guys, I don't know if you've experienced some technical difficulties this morning, but we were sure over here trying to hustle it out to get in here. But nonetheless, here we are. So this morning in our Eat and Greet, we were welcoming over Miss Michele Knight, which I have been fangirling over you on the internet all week.
And you, gorgeous, and you. Mutual fangirling going on.
Yeah, this is brilliant. And people have just been so excited to have you over. So I'm pumped. Today, we're going to talk about astrology, of course, but we found that there's this beautiful space of just intuitive astrology. And sometimes I do think that people discount that, but that is huge in the practice.
You know what I think? I mean, I'm obsessed with intuitive astrology. I started as an intuitive astrologer. There is such value in the simple. There's such magic in the simple, easy to learn first layer. I mean, unfathomable magic, And then the exciting thing about astrology is you could take it as far as you like, but do not dismiss the basics of planets and houses, because that's the key to unlocking your soul map for the beginner, and it is awesome. It shows you the shadows and the empowerment and the things that you can transform, and there's no such thing as bad either.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell you what, so I teach a couple different classes, and even in our very basic class, well before we've brought in aspects, we're able to start painting the story. And the thing is to sit with and let the energy speak through your body. Let it just speak through your intuition, because that chart is going to talk to you if you tap into the intuition, and then you can bring in some technical. So intuitive astrology is where it's at.
And I always go back to it, I'm always still looking, doing this for, God, I don't know, over that nearly 40 years. So, and I still go back to the basics sometimes, and I still see something different. It is because I feel it evolves with you, and what you see in your chart evolves each year that you look at it. I always see something different. So, having those basics, you can always go back to them. I don't care what level you're at.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and it's neat because I have found too that, as with conference, or we keep studying, or whatever the path is, someone will present even at a very advanced level a basic concept, and it is this kind of like mind blow where it's like, oh my God. Yeah, absolutely. So, Michele, first, tell us, before we even jump in here, if anybody hasn't seen you, where can they find you?
Well, horoscope.co.uk, which is if you're interested in the astrology, it's all there for you babies. But if you're interested in psychic and tarot and learning psychic skills, micheleknight.com, Michele with one L.
And on YouTube, we can find you on YouTube. It's over here.
It's just Michele Knight on you. Is it Michele Knight? I don't even know. But I'm pretty sure if you put Michele Knight astrology, it will come up. I've been on there for donkey's years.
I know, it's so funny. I loved it when you had this background and you were on the beach and your hair was just flowing, and then these like beautiful lips, and then it was like something else, and I'm like, well, what happened after the beach?
Don't go too far back, Jesus.
I know. Do you ever feel
dodgy things back there?
I
Not
know.
that dodgy. Nobody's going to be typing to look. I mean, I've evolved and I've transformed over the years. Put it that way.
Yeah, I go back and I look at some of the beginning YouTube videos I did, and I'm like, where was I at? Like, was I going through something? What was happening for me?
Yeah, I changed my life when I grew my hair. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's like I really came into my power when I grew my hair, and it's a long story behind it, but I had always had this protection, and then I came into my woman later on, and I embraced that.
Absolutely. All right, let's get in here and talk about the actual practice of intuitive astrology and how you do things Michele, what's your gateway in? How do you lead into even starting to look at a chart?
You mean me, or how would I share this with
Yeah,
others?
yeah, you or both. Maybe
Me.
D, all of
Okay.
the above.
With me, as I am a psychic as well as an astrologer, so I'll just put it up and then go into it. I don't have any, form. I don't start and finish somewhere. I do it from the wise woman perspective, the wise they perspective. I dive in. So it's not like I start here and then I get round to here and then I look at this and I look at that. So I'll just take it as a whole and I'll see what I'm drawn to. And then something will just intuitively come out at me. It'll be different for everyone. And I'll go in there and then start exploring and unraveling and going deeper.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So
But if
we've
someone,
got,
sorry.
go ahead, go ahead.
But so what I would suggest if you're learning, okay, and you're looking at your chart for the first time, take it around, look at each of obviously where the planets are. So your Mercury is how you communicate, your moon is how you are emotionally. Uh, you go into to those basics, and then you look at what the house is in. But you don't just look at it and look it up and read the book. You tune into your heart and you listen to your heart and you go, okay, what do I feel about that? So for instance, I don't know, I've got moon in Pisces in the 7th house. How does that impact me? Well, in my relationships, I have no boundaries. I am very giving. How do you transform that and make that more powerful so that you're not washed away by your moon in Pisces? This is the kind of extreme information you can get, not just describing where you are, because you can be like a lost person with no boundaries who has addiction issues with moon in Pisces in the 7th, or you could be somebody who's worked on your soul and you become very intuitive and very balanced and have that empathy and ease and boundaries with people. It shows you what you can be and where you are, and also where you are in the more challenging times in life. Does that
Yeah,
make sense?
and the ebbs and the flows for sure. I think if you've been alive long enough and studied your astrology long enough, you can definitely see that your placements are different over time. Not to mention, we kind of have this emotional growth that happens every 3.5 years. We change into a new lunar phase, and it's like, oh, I understand this placement different. So it starts to show up at maybe a different expression of that vibration, I think, of each of these placements.
And also you can use it like alchemy. You can use it like magic. You don't have to just wait and grow. You can tune into it and embody it and experience it and then become it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's very exciting. It's a magical portal to our evolution. And you can look at it in the simplest way, and it's a magical document. And you can delve into the billions of intricacies and deeper levels of astrology. But you know what? Those basics are still a magical portal. Never forget that. Don't get daunted. Oh, it's too much. I have to learn too much. There's too much information. The magic is there and you can learn it, well, you never stop learning actually, but it's there for you. Sorry, I'm
Yeah,
getting over.
absolutely. No, that's exciting because I don't ever want people to feel like you have to add 7,000 asteroids. If you're there, if that's what you're called to, do it. If that's not where you're at and you're just coming in, you've got, like you said, a magical little portal right at your fingertips, just with some basic things, especially if you intuit into them, right? I love this idea of stop grabbing your book. When I work with one-on-one students, I'm like, okay, here's homework. Do not grab your book. Don't
Yeah.
grab
Or
that book.
look at the headline and then write your own experience of that headline.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, should we do it? Should we see some magical portals, i.e. charts?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it. So we've got a couple chart examples we're going to go over today. And I'm going to be talking to you guys up here in the chat, asking questions while we have a look around as well. All right. Here we are. Chart
That's really
numero
so
uno.
what's really interesting. So Virgo, that's very current. Obviously, that's very, very good. But what I find interesting about this chart, and so basically the two things that jumped out at me that I found really interesting is that Virgo can be very serious, very contained. But actually, one thing about Virgo suns is they're really funny. I don't know if you've experienced that. I've got a few friends who are like comedians, literally that's their job, and they're Virgo. So Virgos aren't the sort of serious people that they sometimes portray. But this Virgo has the Sun and Mercury, the planet of communication, in the 5th house of really upbeat. Yeah, because Virgos can be quite cautious because they weigh things up. But that would be, I bet this person is quite a jolly person. And maybe some people would say, oh, I can't relate to you being a Virgo, because they've got that 5th house of optimism, supremely creative person. The other thing I always say about anybody with a lot of Virgo in their chart, or Virgo in general, is the original name for Virgo, Virgin rather. Virgin did not mean virgin in the way that we understand it in the patriarchy of being, you know, not having had sex. It meant belonging to no man. It was, it meant a free woman. So the irony of the patriarchy is that it's turned that on its head to make it all about, you know, sexuality in a negative way. Do you want to say something, and then we'll take it? Should we take it in turns?
Yeah. I was actually looking at this this Sun and this Jupiter dancing together, and so I too got that experience, or that expression of genuine humor. But it's almost like, I feel like it's this humor that's a little bit expanded, you know, where it's like when it's a bad day, it's like, oh, I died, and you're like, you died, you know. It's just this bigger expression of kind of this Sun energy over there. But I felt like there's a lot of humor in this chart as well at this particular time too. I'm just thinking of the transits. I would think at this time this person is definitely crossroading right now. Virgo season is on. We're making some decisions. We're getting prepared to make.
Yeah, but also they've got Pluto and Uranus. Pluto and Saturn in the 5th, which I find quite curious. I'd be really interesting to know how that manifests. But, you know, I would say that this person's superpower is their creativity. So when they are creating and flowing and in real moments of transition, it's really important to find sparks of laughter and creativity. Creativity will get you out of any hole and help you, ease you through drama, which no doubt you've had a lot of.
Yeah, and look at that. Venus and Leo as well, another 5th house tie. So we do have the joy of the humor, a little bit of drama, creativity definitely available here. I would think though too, Saturn here.
I'm going to move you here, because am I looking in the wrong way? Because you're over here, so I'm looking at you rather than the camera.
That's okay. It looks good. Okay. Saturn here in Libra, definitely doing some lessons around relationships in the 5th house here. One of the things that I see as a pretty strong pattern is this idea that they are actually absolutely lovable. Absolutely. What you do is perfect. What you do, what you offer, what that creativity is absolutely valuable. And if you stick with it, there's that Saturn actually provides, instead of feeling like, oh, I'm denied these relationships, I'm denied this relation to something. I think Saturn actually gives a beautiful amount of mastery over that relationship dynamic between just being a practical person and being really creative, right? So it creates a nice mastery.
I would say that possibly the challenge is Mars in Scorpio in the 6th.
Oh yeah.
And also the moon in Aquarius. So, you know, like the moon in Aquarius in the 10th, it can be quite detached, very focused on career, very focused on here rather than within. And then Mars in Scorpio beneath that. So you've got this kind of detachment, but underneath that, you've got this Mars in Scorpio, which is very intense, pulsating, you know. So I would imagine that this person, if I'm not going too deep, has times of a great deal of sexuality, and then times of like, oh, you know, I'm detaching from my relationships, I'm withdrawing. I would say, if this was a client, I would say, you know, that there are lessons of intimacy coming through here, and yet you have, I mean, you may have even resolved that. There is great potential for intimacy, closeness, family, and, you know, but be careful not to just talk a good game with Venus in the 3rd. So Venus in the 3rd and moon in Aquarius, there can be a lot of this, which is trying to escape intimacy, or talking intimacy rather than feeling intimacy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a high, this is a high air chart. So I look at that too. I think that one of the most attractive things about this person in terms of attracting things to them is the fact that this is an idea person. You know, they like these ideas. I can come up with a lot of different things, but we need a little bit of help grounding the feet down into the actual earth, which is interesting because I think sometimes people have this idea that just because they are an earth sun, that they're innately going to get it. My experience is that we continue to grow into some of our placements. And if you get an element that is high in your chart and different from your sun energy, that may be a growth potential and opportunity right there too. So how do you take that bad boy, all those ideas, and ground them down into something you can really do something with?
But as they've got that Gemini ascendant, and actually the Mars in Scorpio on the 6th would make them do it, but they'd give themselves a hard time, might be quite self-critical and critical of others. So always avoid that. You don't have to be perfect. You are amazing as you are, you know. Don't let shame hold you back. Mars in Scorpio is a big shame thing. Hidden, you can't deal with shame. Shame makes you angry, you know, or it makes one angry. With Mars there, it's about embracing your shame, embracing your imperfection, because we are all imperfect, and you'll be capable of anything then. You may even achieve things already now. You might have already learned these lessons. But with Gemini rising in the first, communication is a massive thing for you. But again, communicate with your heart, not just your dazzling intellect.
Yeah, absolutely. And communication in those relationships. I just almost have the sense that right now it's like I want to tell this person it's actually okay to, of course, Amazon's here. It's okay to travel with others, right? Like it doesn't have to all be done on your own.
But I bet people love them and are very drawn to them. But it's a question of, you know, being the life bit, like being very entertaining and really clever, but unzipping those layers to experience receiving. Actually, fifth house is very, isn't it, wonderful. I'd love to hang out with you. Actually, I'm sure you are hilarious and fabulous.
Oh, I got muted again. No, I'm back. I'm here.
Yeah, you are back. You are back.
I am back. Let's take another chart and have a look. All right, Michelle, have a look there for just a second.
That's extraordinary. Still getting the old fifth house Virgo. So there's some cheerful old Virgos tuning in. So we got Sun in the fifth, Venus in the fifth. Are you there? Hello? Okay, you're muting the dog, are you? Yeah, okay, cool. So we've got another Sun in the fifth, so another jolly old Virgo. But I would say very good with people as well, like really relates to friends, has a lot of close friendships with Moon in the 11th. Very good at connecting with people, would be very good at working in a charity or working somewhere where connection is very important. I would say they're brilliant at whatever they do for a living. I mean, they've got it going on. Is that another Mars in Scorpio in the 6th? Am I going insane?
No, it's another one. It seems to be the theme of this morning.
What? I mean, wow. That's intense, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
What does that
look
mean?
at this.
What could it mean?
This is the Virgo Sun in the 5th, Scorpio, Mars and Scorpio in the 6th kind of morning or afternoon.
Great potential for love when they travel, either falling in love with other countries or finding a really amazing love overseas, or somebody from a different cultural background as well. And great good fortune from relationships. But, you know, sometimes that's eventually, doesn't necessarily have to be. Whenever I see this, somebody comes to me and they've like not had a good relationship ever, I know they will with that Jupiter in the 7th. And an expansive one. They can't handle a normal relationship. It has to be one that makes them grow. It has to be something that challenges them. It has to be something that helps them go on to brand new horizons. Having said that, they've also got Pluto in Scorpio on the 7th. So every relationship creates a dramatic and powerful transformation in their life, like massive, huge. I mean, I would imagine this person, whatever relationships they've had, has been very, very intense. And they may have been a loss or an early heartbreak that completely transformed their personality as well. So can't say, because we're just looking at it like this and I'm not connecting with the person's energy, but that's very interesting.
I'm looking at these
very
nodes.
Psychic as well.
That's what I was thinking too. That Jupiter Moon situation over there, I was picking up a very intuitive sense. It's almost like too, looking at these nodes, relationships are the deal. right? It's again, it's this idea that you got to get in here. We've got to do this. We've got to be in the relationships without losing ourselves. But I do think that every relationship, from friendships to the guests, station person, this person has that intuitive sense of why they're
Yeah.
interacting, soul sighting, like they look at another person and it's like, I can see your soul. I get that we're both souls here,
Mm.
instead of having it be just we're two people. Really nice. And high earth, high water in this chart, that is a nice connection for this person in the embodiment, I
Also,
think.
they know everyone's equal. They experience everyone emotionally as equal. Doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, where you've been. There's this connection to everybody. They're very in touch with the one consciousness
Mhm.
naturally, and
Yeah,
quite maternal in.
yeah, I would caution them, or just tell them to be mindful, because there's a lot of mutable energy in here, not to worry. Worry is actually not useful, and not to take on, or to learn how to not take on so much of everyone else's energy.
And
Right?
responsibility with the Mercury and the Mars in the sixth as well.
Oh yeah, look at that magic. Oh, this is nice, but I do love that Venus there with the sun. I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. We
I
get
just
on. We get on. That's for sure.
Yeah, I just see rounded more right here, more rounded cheeks too, just something a little bit more rounded, like it's nice and soft.
There might also be with Saturn in Pisces in the 11th, that there will be a radical change of connection to groups, connections to a whole belief system around the Saturn return. Have they had their Saturn return? I can't work it out. I'm number blind. So
Not yet. We're
1995. How old are they?
we're we're coming in. We're not there yet, so we'll be on the way here. We've got
So they're, yeah,
another 3 years.
of course. What am I talking about? I don't need numbers. There it is in front of my eyeballs. Well, it's yeah. Well, that will be a very intense. You got to be really hold your boundaries strong in that Saturn return. It's going to be, you're going to be changing, and if you're not following your soul path, you will do within 3 years of that happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I was thinking about it too, because it seems the same, like maybe it's been exactly the same friendship group, or the plan, right? Like there's a plan. I
Yeah.
have this plan for my life. I have this desire, and that Saturn return is certainly going to kick it in a much different direction. Almost, I feel like this person, maybe, are you like the behind the scenes intuitive right now? And this Saturn return is going to kick you very public, where it's like, what is that? What is that situation? Did your family not go for this? And then you're going to be a really public tarot reader or astrologer or something like that. But I definitely think it kicks them in a different direction here, coming up not too long. Oh
Very
gosh, and
interesting. Very
Saturn and everybody are working on this Neptune and this Uranian energy at the top of the chart. The electricity is very real from the sun right now. Yay.
wow.
I know. So we've seen
I'd
that.
love to know what they did. I'd love to know what they were doing in their life right now. It'd be very interesting.
Oh, yeah, me too. And you know what? I have the
Because
vision.
that's the point. This chart can be very self-critical and not expand into the joy that is waiting for them. Or they could expand into the joy, but then possibly take on too much responsibility. Or they could expand into the joy and do it all, and love and nurture themselves, All three things are available and more. So I wonder where they are right now on that scale. Are they living, that wonder and magic? But even if they are, there's changes coming. Fabulous changes, interesting changes, soul changes.
Gold changes. Yeah. Do you have time? Should we look at one more?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, let's do it.
Is it another Virgo? I ask myself.
I'm gonna stop share for just a minute, guys, and let's put in this other chart. We had somebody just actually pop their information here just in the chat. So we're gonna do that. And it is not a Virgo. And this is going to be an 80s baby. So let's see what we've got in
I love
store.
an 80s baby.
Yeah, you know what? We're like the 80s kids. We're trying to shine right now, Michelle. We're really trying to just have it together a little bit.
Yeah, my
I
son's an 80s baby.
I approve. Oh, let's see. Hold on. This one does not have. Okay, we're going to just use noon because I don't have the time. So let's see. Oh, your son's in 80s, but I didn't even know you had a son.
Yes, born in 1986, a Taurus,
My heart.
a very stubborn Taurus.
We make life exciting for other people.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
got moon in Cancer, so yeah,
oh, so he's just a whole snack over there, huh?
yeah. I mean, it's difficult for him having a mother like me, I'm sure, but yeah, he's very in tune and has a lot of empathy and loving for other people. He's very good.
Oh my goodness, that's so what does he do on this planet?
Well, he does all sorts of things for himself, and he works with me doing lots of technical stuff. But he's obsessed with gaming and create. I shouldn't roll my eyes. Did I roll my eyes? No, it's fabulous. And he's a wizard at many things.
So just being an
But he
astrologer
is.
does
I'll tell you what. He's one of my favorite humans because he has power and strength and empathy. So he's very in touch with his but all sides of himself. So he's physically powerful and strong, and yet he's got this very in touch with the feminine heart. So yeah, I'm very proud of him.
love that. All right, let's see what we've got here. Looky, we've got some Saturn happening
Well,
in
actually, what is interesting about this? Actually, it's good because it's good for us to look at this because if you don't know your time, okay, the moon could be out, but if you look at an ephemeris, it can tell you, if the moon changed that day. If the moon didn't change that day, you know that that's your moon, and if it did, intuit which is your moon if you really don't know your time. So I think it's great we're looking at one without the houses and we can just see the planets.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, look at this one. This is great. There's some beautiful Saturn happening over here. There's Saturn is abundant in this chart. Saturnian energy, quite serious,
Wow.
but also I would think when I see an abundance of Saturn, especially here, this person's a hustler. They're a hustler,
Well,
right?
it's a wild one. Capricorn might present as, very straight laced, very work, whatever they do. I mean, you could be eccentric, and I hate that word eccentric. You could be a wild free spirit doing your wild free thing and still be a Capricorn, right? But other people will
Absolutely.
sense, yeah, but other people can sense your boundaries, and you're still always going to be that goat going up the hill, unless you're that goat with the fishy bit and you're swimming in that sea. For Capricorn, it's to try and find that balance between your spirituality and your emotion with your tail, in the picture of the sea goat, but also to climb the mountain. But with somebody with Mars in Sagittarius, they will want to travel, they will want to adventure, they will want to explore. They won't be restricted by the Capricorn, I don't think. Well, they could be, but the freedom is there. The freedom. Don't fight your desire to express your unique soul. But with all that Aquarius, I would imagine you're a very unique being and you've got very unique ideas and you can see trends in the future and you can come up with ideas. Sometimes might be frustrate you because it might be before their time and other people don't get it until 2 years later. But you have genius potential.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like, Aquarian energy there just in the first. I'm like, you're quirky. There's something about sitting in front of you where there's something quirky about you, or there's something where it's like, yeah, we're definitely having this. It's
Oh,
like watching electricity live.
oh, you do have their time. You have their time. Is this their correct time?
Yes.
Oh, this is their correct time of birth.
Yeah. So this is like the real deal. We're good here.
Oh, okay, cool. I'll take that back. I thought you said you didn't have their time, so I'm barking up the wrong tree. Even better. I mean, Mercury and Venus in the first. What's a charmer? Ooh, I bet you are charming, mesmerizing. Everyone wants to hang around with you because you've got the good vibes going on there. But deep in your heart, you have Moon in the 8th house. So all is not what it seems. You can dive deep when you need to. Maybe you got to look at the issues with the mother, trust issues, or maybe a sense of loss connected to the divine feminine. What is going on there? Is that external or internal? Very important work to do with that because that's I could feel that in my heart chakra. For all the love and goodness you give out, there's some heart chakra Moon in the 8th. I mean, I literally can feel that. So that's an intuitive feel there, without doubt. So work on that Moon in the 8th. It makes you profound. It makes you deep. It makes you intense. It gives you all the depth you need to be able to use that magical Aquarius in the first, which doesn't want to necessarily dive deep. It just wants to go forward.
Yeah, and I'm thinking of this Moon Saturn situation here, especially with Uranus. It's this idea that expand out, go and create something that's beyond what you can see. You can do it. You have the capacity to do it, but also along the way be mindful of the relationships you take with you. They can't do it for you. You've got to kind of stand on your own and be in the right relation with relationships. What you don't want is someone to own your expansion. This one is yours.
And with those squares as well, it's are you stopping your freedom, or do you hook up with other people that stop your freedom, and then you say, oh, you see, I can't do it because people are blocking my freedom? No, you have the power. You have the power. Don't let any life circumstance or any other human block your expression of who you are. Okay, it doesn't mean, I mean, you know, obviously sometimes we all have terrible, terrifying times, but always express who you truly are. And again, that's the magic of you. That magic could lead you anywhere because you have your finger on the pulse of humanity, right? So you know what's going on, and not only do you know what's going on, you know what's coming next. So, and you can create something that no one's ever seen before. I mean, there is pure genius in this chart, I think.
Yeah, I absolutely do too. And I'm looking at the fact that the majority of the planets and the livelihood is living between, essentially houses 10 through 3, so very eastern side over here. This is an
Yeah.
interesting,
I noticed that. That's
yeah,
massive.
it's an interesting lifetime where it's like, I don't know that this person is so driven by, I need to have my own children and I need to have my own family. They are here to do something. And I think there's this innate knowing that I'm here to do something in this lifetime. And maybe I've already done that, or those are just not my high priority. I really feel like that this time. And that's
But
okay.
also, yeah, avoid the stubbornness as well with that Capricorn ascendant, with the Capricorn sun. I mean, if pass it on to anyone you're having a relationship with. Nobody can force you to do anything. But even if you want to do it, you might go out your way not to do it if someone pushes you. And that's something, that energy you have to work with. And that's a spiritual lesson. That is something, you know, that you are here to learn because it's 12th house. It's your last learning before you go on to freedom. So that's why sometimes in your life you might feel frustration because you sense, you know, your soul is evolving beyond that. This is the last bit, you know.
Yeah.
So before you say no, a bit of advice, before you say no to any situation or someone's asking you to do something in a way that you don't like, use your intuition. Don't just say no for the hell of it because you don't like anyone telling you what to do. Intuit, use your intuition, which is your magic secret superpower there as well. Your psychic, use it and use it, use your empathy as well for yourself and others. And then everything opens.
Yeah, absolutely. And own the hell out of that Jupiter down there in Aries. You have got something to say, and it is just so genuinely yours. So I really feel like that's
And
such a
also
strong message for this chart. Is
with
that
Aries,
with Aries, look at that.
so that means for me that when you are impulsive, you know, when you unlock that Capricorn energy and you go more towards, you know, the Aries and the Sagittarius, you know, I mean, think back on your life when you've done something spontaneous, it's probably works out really well
Yeah, I
because
think
that's your luck, your magic stone, that's your talisman, that Jupiter there.
yeah, this is a high cardinal chart too. So truly, I think it speaks to that. When you get it, you get it. But also,
That's
maybe remember to
fascinating.
take some downtime. Take a little downtime as well. I think it's good. Make sure you care for yourself. Eastern heavy charts tend to be able to go because you know you have something to do and you can do it. But rest also, that is as equally important as everything else.
And you've got to look after that moon. You've got to look after your deep emotions. You can deplete emotionally and also, you know, suddenly feel sorrow and wonder why you're feeling it because you're not connecting with your emotions sometimes, you know. So it's self-nurturing and also being around other people that are nurturing and have that loving feeling. That's you'll find that very soul healing for you as well.
Mm, agreed. It's a very interesting chart, right? I think this is a really different soul experience than maybe what some of them have been. Certainly.
Yeah, it's intense. But I
Man,
mean, all that potential for movement and flow, with sometimes it might feel as if the cork's in the bottle. with the sun and the rising. Do you know what I mean? So it's all ready to go. You've got to take the cork out of the spiritual bottle, release your crown chakra, get the movement flowing.
Yeah, let
But
the
this is
G
what I'm saying.
out.
We're doing this. We could literally spend 8,000 years on this chart and go into the intricacies of everything. But you could get so much information by looking at the bare basics. And that's something that's really important for me to share. For even now, if I looked at my chart and I started talking in the way that I'm talking now, and you started talking, we discover so much on just those basics. It's always a temptation to be clever. The respect is to be clever and go deeper and go deeper and go deeper. Do you know what? Sometimes you can lose the magic if you get caught up in some of the technicalities. Not always, because it's a bit like skiing, right? You can start off on the baby slope, and then some people can get on top of the mountain. They can do anything. They can go all through the dangerous passes, look at all that information, and still hold the truth. Other people just fly off the cliff and they're in the air. They don't even know it. Anyway.
It's the truth, right? So there's just so much magic over here in basic conversation. And I think what's interesting too about just the basic placements is that you can have a lot of width and know a lot in astrology or gather a lot, but sometimes just the depth is so much better. I consider things like that in how I teach and I share with people. Let's just even look at the houses. If we trace the path of the sun just through the basic houses, the eighth house is
Like
not
therapy.
rising, it's falling. Yeah. Right. By the time you get to the eighth house, you understand this motion in the body that it's like, oh, the sun is going down. I've got to go down with, so there's so much that can be available in the intuition of just depth of the basics.
Yeah, it's self-therapy, it's how to heal yourself. It's right there. You don't even have to tell anyone. You could go into it yourself. But I would say spend some time. Don't just, oh, I've learned that now. I know what the first, second, third house is. I know what this is. Right, I'll leap into the transit. Know that now. Going to leap into this, that, and the other. Oh, let's go to the astronaut. No, you can, well, yes, if you want to, but I would suggest really swimming in the magic of the beginning, because it's all there should you need it to be. And the rest is super exciting because you can explore it till the day you die, and then you still won't know it all.
That is the damn truth, which I think is what's amazing about almost anything on this planet, right? Not just astrology. There's so much more to know than we're ever going to really grasp, at least in this form, that it is kind of hard to get bored.
Kind of hard to
get bored.
Yeah, that's true. I'm never bored. Never.
It's because of your hat.
Yeah. My hat's keeping occupied. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Michele, thank you so much for coming over. This has been so fun. The chat is just lit up. People are saying they're just fans of us. So I think I'm going to have you back again.
Yeah, baby. Anytime.
And we're going to do it with no technical difficulties next time. I just feel it.
Yeah. We should do some moons or something as well. We should do some moons, like on a new moon or a full moon. We should do some stuff. Take the magic out of what's going on. I could just go on to the whole other chapter about the fact that just knowing what's going on, you can use that as alchemy. But that's for the next time.
That is for the next time, which means we promise that there will be a next time. And we've got some moons before we end this year, so we should definitely take a look at those. All right, you guys, thank you so much for showing up this morning. I love all of you, and I am grateful for all of the love and the support. We will be seeing you tomorrow. Clarissa Dolphin's coming over tomorrow. We're going to do some vibrational astrology. But until then, go check out what's happening on Michele's channel. I see you on Facebook posting weeklies and doing lives. It's absolutely, you're just so wonderful to watch.
Michele Knight Astrology on Facebook. I'll do lots of lives where I do tarot and I'll look at your astrology. So come meet me there. Yes.
Exciting stuff. Thanks for coming over to Michele, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Bye, gorgeous.